guys, Constance here. Welcome back to A Good Life Farm. So it is the month of October, and for many people it is time to be pulling out the slow cookers and putting them to use. Now personally, I like to use my slow cooker all year long, especially during garden season, because I'm outside working for hours and hours and hours, and when I come in I'm exhausted, I'm filthy, and the last thing I want to do is have to cook dinner. I mean, I do, but using my slow cooker during that time of the year really makes my life easier. So I use my slow cooker all year long. But today I'm going to share a recipe with you that has actually been on my website for many years. And this video is actually part of a CROCKtober collaboration. It's being hosted by Jenny Goff, and there are many channels who are participating in this collaboration. That 1870s Homestead, Freedom Homestead, just all sorts of great channels. I will put a list of all of the channels in the description under this video so that you can check out all of the other channels. There's also a playlist of all of the videos for this collaboration, and there is a Facebook group where there's lots of great discussion going on over there. So the recipe that I'm sharing with you is actually a Cuban type of recipe, and it is called Ropa Vieja. And if you're not familiar with Ropa Vieja, first of all, the word means old clothes, and I don't know the story behind it, but that's what it means. And you know, I actually not too long ago met a family from Cuba, and we were talking about Ropa Vieja, and she told me that I actually make it pretty close to authentic, because Ropa Vieja is supposed to be slow cooked, just long and low and slow, and so making it in a slow cooker is just the perfect option for making this recipe. Now normally this recipe is made with skirt steak. It cooks long and low and slow, and then you just shred it all up at the end, and then you serve it with rice and some chopped olives. But a lot of stores all around the country right about now are having some shortages, so you can't always find the cut of meat that you want for your recipes, but you just have to adapt and do what you can. And so today I'm going to make this recipe with a flank steak. It'll still be fantastic, but traditionally you would make this with a skirt steak. So I'm going to put on my apron and we'll get started cooking. Alright, so the first thing that I'm going to do here is I'm going to cut my flank steak in half, and I'm going to set half of it in my slow cooker here. And I'm going to put the other half in there, but I'm going to kind of stand it up on end so that I have access to the other one right there, like that. So now I'm going to slice an onion. Now just a little trick about onions. When you have them going into a dish that's going to be cooking for a long time, such as in a slow cooker, if you want your onions to retain some of their texture, you're going to slice them the long way, like this. If you want the onions to just become really, really soft and almost disintegrate into the food that they're cooking, then you're going to slice them across the rings. So end to end to keep texture, across the rings to make them nice and small. So I'm going to go ahead and cut them end to end here. Alright, scoot those off to the side here. Then I've got a red bell pepper and a green bell pepper. And I'm going to cut these into strips. And I use the bottom of the pepper too, because there is nothing wrong with that. You just cut it into strips like you do the rest of it. So I've had a lot of new subscribers lately, and of course probably some new visitors today here because of this collaboration. So if you are new here, as I said, my name is Constance, and my husband and I were an active duty Army family for 25 years. He made a career of the Army. He was the one in the Army, but we moved all over the place. We lived everywhere from Alaska to Europe. We have 3 children who are all grown, and we live in northern Alabama. And after Army life, we planted roots here and we started our homestead. And I've been a blogger for over a decade. And my website, which you can find at agoodlifefarm.com, has over 700 recipes. There's all sorts of articles on gardening and food preservation and all sorts of goodies. And then here on the YouTube channel, I do generally at least 3 videos every week, and those are all about homesteading, home cooking, and back to basics. Alright, so I've got my onions, or my onion and my peppers all sliced up. And so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take about half of everything here, half of the peppers, half of the onions, and I'm putting them on top of 1/2 of the steak. Half of the red bell peppers, half of the green, half of the onions. And then I'm just going to take this other piece, lay it down on top, and then put the rest of it all over there. Just like that. Beautiful. It's pretty already. Green and red and onion and yum. Alright, so now I'm going to don some gloves because I wear contacts, and so if I handle anything hotter than a bell pepper or something along that lines, I always put gloves on, just to be on the safe side. Alright, so I've got 2 jalapeno peppers here, and this is totally optional. You don't have to use these if you don't want to, but I've got a lot of peppers out there in the garden and I want to put some of them to use. So I'm just going to cut these down the center, just split them open, and then let me grab a spoon. And I'm just going to remove the seeds out of the middle of the peppers. Like that. Alright, and then I'm just going to kind of cut these into slices. Now if you do like a lot of heat in your cooking, you could just slice up some jalapenos, leave them whole, leave the seeds in if you want to, but I'm a little bit of a wimp when it comes to spicy food. And really, Cuban food isn't about heat, it's about spice, but not heat. The lady that I was speaking to recently about Ropa Vieja, who's from Cuba, said that Cuban food is known for spice without burn. And so if you want a little heat, I suppose you could add that, but it isn't necessary if you don't want it. Alright, just kind of mix those in. All right, let me set this all aside. I am done with my cutting board. Next, I'm just going to grab a little bowl here to mix up my other ingredients. I've got, where's my can opener? I have a 15-ounce can of diced tomatoes that are fire roasted diced tomatoes. All right, then I've got 3 cloves of minced garlic. I have a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. I have 1/4 cup of ketchup. Now this may not be truly authentic, but this is what works for me. All right. Next, I'm going to add in 2 teaspoons of ground cumin. Pinch of salt. Now I'm just going to stir this all together to combine it. I mean, it already smells amazing. Alright. And I'm just going to take this mixture and I'm going to pour it all over the top of the peppers and the onion and the flank steak. So now I'm just going to put the lid on my slow cooker. I'm going to turn that on to low, and I'm going to let this go for about 6 to 8 hours, and then there will be just a couple little things that I'll need to do to finish it up. Alright, so my Ropa Vieja has been cooking in here for several hours, pretty much all day. So I'm just kind of going to move aside all of the peppers and everything and just take a look at the steak and see how we're doing. Oh good, this is just going to fall apart. I was concerned because, like I said at the beginning here, I usually make this with skirt steak, and I'm making it with a flank steak today. So I'm just gonna very carefully pull this out onto my board. Find the other piece here. Ooh. Ah, look at that. Alright, so now I'm just gonna take these 2 forks right here and I'm gonna shred up this meat. I'll put it back into the slow cooker and just let it cook for a few more minutes, all shredded up. And back into the slow cooker. So Now I'll just let this finish up while I cook some rice. So to finish this up, I've got some green olives that I just chopped up right here. And so now I've got a bowl full of rice. And where'd my tongs go? I'll just use these right here. So we'll just grab some of this super tender, amazing beef. Just serve it right on top of the rice. Ooh, that's a lot. Let's see, let's find some of those peppers and onion. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. And I'm just going to top it with some of the chopped olives. Let me get a little bit of the juice to pour over the rice. Added flavor. All right, and dinner is served just like that. Check this out. Doesn't that look amazing? And if you could smell this right now, you would just be, oh, you'd be drooling over this. So like I said, this recipe was part of the CROCKtober Extravaganza, the collaboration that was organized by Jenny Goff. And there's many channels who have been taking part with this collaboration all month long, all through the month of October. There is a Facebook group that's actually affiliated with this collaboration where everyone has been sharing recipes and tips for all of these CROCKtober recipes. And I will put a link to that group down below, as well as the schedule of all of the different channels that have been participating. And there's actually a giveaway that is going on with this collaboration as well. At the end of the month, Jenny Goff is going to go back, she's going to draw a number from one of the videos, to select one of the videos, I should say, like 1 through 31, for one for each day of the month of October. And then under that video, she's going to select one of the comments as the winner. So you could win your own crock pot if you don't already have one, or it's always great to have a backup. I have a couple of slow cookers myself, and so be sure to go back and watch all of the videos and leave a comment under every one of them, because not only will that enter you into the giveaway, but that also helps YouTube creators. When you leave a comment, it tells the algorithm that they're creating great content, and it makes it more apt for other people to be able to see those videos and help grow that channel. So just taking a couple moments and leaving a comment is always really helpful for the people who are making the content. So that is it for today. If you have any questions about this recipe, please leave them in the comments down below. And I have a printable version of this over on my website, and I will put a link to that down below. Oh, and before I forget, that recipe, this Ropa Vieja, this seasoned meat and peppers, you can not only serve it on top of the rice, but you could put it inside a tortilla, or you could bake up some French fries, put the meat and the peppers and all that over the top, sprinkle some cheese on top, and serve it that way. There's lots of ways that you can serve this amazing dish. So that is it for today. Thanks for hanging out with me here again in the Homestead Kitchen. My name is Constance at A Good Life Farm, and I'll talk to you all next time.